the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Elmore?
Supervisor Vecchio.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy.
Here.
Councilman Wareham.
Here.
Councilwoman Nowick.
Here.
And Councilwoman Israeli.
Here. Okay. Okay. Appointment by the supervisor. Supervisor hereby appoints Donald Musser as budget officer for the town. Under correspondence, we have a third reading for Parade Run Walk by the Greater Long Island Running Club. A second reading for Breathe for Brit Foundation. A Parade Run Walk for Kings Park St. Patrick's Day Parade. Second reading. A Parade Run Walk for Wisconsin Athletic Association. First reading for VFW Post Memorial Day Parade. And a first reading for St. James Chamber St. Patrick's Day Parade, first reading. We also have a letter of withdrawal for change of zone petition received from Donald J. King, attorney for the applicant Christopher Bradshaw. We also have a building department report, which is on file in the clerk's office, which is there for anyone's perusal. We'll move on. Anybody wish to be heard for or against the granting of those permits? Town Board to authorize the clerk to advertise the following bids to be returned to Town Hall. A bid for roof repairs at the Smithtown Highway Department building to be returned on February 16, 2017.
Councilwoman Israeli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nowick.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes, the Town Board, after due study and deliberation of the record, issues a secret negative declaration, a determination of non-significance in the following matter. Application for site plan approval by PJ Venture, John Baker for PJ Venture, change of zone petition 2016, PJ Venture memorandum dating January 9, 2017.
Councilwoman Israeli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nowick.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town Board to approve the following. The minutes of the regular meeting held on November 17th. Clerk to issue a parade run walk permit to the Greater Long Island Running Club, an amendment to the agreement with Civil Service Employees Association, Local 852 regarding the wage and salary plan, and the addition of the Title Communications Technician 1 to the attached agreement.
Okay. Letter D's been withdrawn. E, Town Board to approve vehicles and equipment to be placed on an auction per attached list. F, rental rates for hired equipment. G, extension of agreements with Village of Head of the Harbor. H, extension of agreement with Huntington Hearing and Speech. I, 2017 extension of municipal cooperative agreement with the Nesconset Fire Department. J, extension of municipal agreement for radio dispatch with St. James Fire District. K, town to approve vehicle and equipment to be scrapped. And L, attached list per authorized work shoes for eligible town employees.
Councilwoman Israeli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nowick.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Number 4, LWRP, Town Board to issue a written consistency pursuant to Chapter 151 of the Town Code that application 2016-10 by CCI Design and Build Corp. Is consistent with the LWRP as per the printed agenda item.
Councilwoman Israeli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nowick.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 5.
Item number 5 is withdrawn.
5A, I'm sorry, yeah,
5A, yes.
yes. Okay, we'll go to 5B, donation $100 to animal shelter, and C, accept escrow as per the printed agenda items.
Councilwoman Israeli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nowick.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 6, the town board to authorize the controller to execute the following. It's 6A, B, C, D, and E, and those are transfers to various revenue accounts.
Councilwoman Israeli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nowick.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 7, the town board to authorize the supervisor to execute the following on a form approved by the town attorney as per 7 A, B, C, and D, an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Lloyd Harbor, an agreement with Suffolk County Youth Bureau, a term extension of intermunicipal agreement with the Incorporated Village of Nessaquag, and D, agreement with VHB Engineering Services.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Under Personnel, the town board to approve the following personnel matters as per 8A and B, a part-time appointment and a medical leave.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Under Traffic, the town board to authorize the following amendments to the Uniform Traffic Code and to authorize the Traffic Safety Department to install and maintain the necessary signs as per Schedule AJ, parking, standing, stopping per the printed agenda.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
And we have one read-on, RFP number 17-007, Design, Permitting, and Construction Administration, Phase 2, Regional Fuel Facility, RFP 17-007, Professional Services. It's related to design, permitting, instruction, administration of Phase 2 for the regional consolidation, as per returnable on February 24th, 2017.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Wishing to be heard, John Baker.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, fellow board members. I had the opportunity to attend a couple daytime meetings, at which point in time you as a supervisor and the board members were taken task for not addressing certain projects within the town. And if the supervisor remembers way back when we donated the Somme property, we also discussed Kings Park Hospital property, which could have been bought for about the same amount of money, and we thoroughly discussed the impacts it would have had on the town as far as maintaining it, and the cleanup would have been so extensive, and the way the state had it laid out, it would have fell on the shoulders of the town, which made it unfeasible to do money-wise. And at that point, we sanitized the Somme property. We've discussed numerous times with all the board members and the supervisor the DiCarlo property. And until somebody pays them enough money to buy a yacht that's float him around the world, he's not interested in selling it. And there's numerous projects I could go on with. The school property is out of your control. Any private property, for example, the one we just finished up on Comac Road, it sat for years, run down, beat up. The existing owners, the original owners, had plenty of money to do it, just not the intent. And until someone comes along with the intent to improve a private piece of property, it doesn't happen. No matter what the town wants to do, if that owner decides not to do it, it's not going to happen. And you also brought the task on permitting and zoning, the length it takes. I think I've worked in every town, including East Hampton. And as far as making an application and following it through, I would say the average project that we look at is out 3 years. And it could be more. But we give a 3-year time span. When we think of a project to the day we go to build it, it takes about 3 years to get everything into the town. But if you don't stay on top of it and work with all the departments and make sure the paper goes from one to the next, it will linger and it will stay there, no matter what town you're in. No matter what town you're in. May it be, East Hampton, or may it be Huntington. We worked in Huntington, Hempstead, Oyster Bay, all those towns. All the process is about the same. One of our partnerships is the Reckler brothers. The wife questioned the one brother how long it takes a project. They put 10 years aside for a project from start to finish. From when they think about it, get it permitted in zoning and build it and finished. They put 10 years on a project. So to be called to task that projects don't move through, if they don't move through, it's because someone didn't follow it up. And it's happened to me where I forgot to follow something up and it will sit on somebody's desk. Not meaningfully, but there's a lot of paper going across everybody's desk. And unless you're like a tick on a dog, it can sit. It
But
can sit and it will sit.
your remarks are as a retort to the fellow who was here some weeks ago who blamed the town board for projects that lingered.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
Okey-doke.
Jennifer Saul,
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and councilmen and women. My name is Jennifer Saleh. I live on Colonial Road. And I'm here as a representative of a group that we just organized. It's called Save Our New York Avenue Neighborhood. Briefly, I moved to Colonial Road about 3 years ago with my 2 small children, my husband. We picked that area because it's a quiet little area, narrow street. Most of the residents live there for most of their lives. We wanted a place where the kids can run around and play and it would be safe. We were not foreseeing that in a few years there was the potential that we would look out and in our yard we would be seeing 4-story apartment buildings. If we wanted that, frankly, we'd buy a house in Queens. I'm here as a representative to, one, say that we've started a group on social media, and on behalf of the over 400 names we've already collected in just a few weeks' time on an online petition, we are just asking that you take into consideration all these very important points that any say you might have in the moving forward with the Southern Land Company's proposal of putting in 4-story apartment buildings that frankly just do not go with that piece of land and do not go with the nature of the neighborhood. We just ask that you would take everything into consideration, what is really best for the town, what is best for your townspeople. Think about where you live and what would you like to look out your front. A nice grassy area and trees, or a 4-story apartment building and a sewage treatment plant. So we just humbly ask that you take all these factors into consideration, and we thank you for your time with that.
Mrs. Saul, wait 1 second, please.
Sure.
There is no application before this town board. If there were an application, we would schedule the zoning hearing, an application for a zone change, and then you folks can come and be heard for or against that zone change. But until such time as we get an application, we have no say over the matter.
I understand that, sir, and I know
Okay.
that it's in the works and moving forward, and we intend to hopefully be at all the upcoming meetings, so,
Well, I'm not so sure it's in the works where.
I'm sorry?
You said it's in the works. What's it, where is it?
What do you mean, but it's in the works?
You said it's in the works. Say that again?
Well, the Southern Land Company already had a towns meeting at the fire department at the beginning of December. It's been all over the news. There's going to be, as you said, there definitely has to be a rezoning. We just ask that you all take whatever part you might have, that we just ask that you take that into consideration of what we feel.
When they make the application, we schedule a hearing, if they proffer one. We schedule a hearing, it'll be in a larger place than this, and you all can come and tell us why we shouldn't change the zone.
Wonderful.
That's the
Thank
way
you.
it works.
And we plan to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not so sure I can read the last name here. Kurt? Okay, please come up.
I'm on this, in the same boat
Same.
as her.
Just please speak in the mic and just pronounce your last name, please.
It's Kurt Ikeness. I live on Colonial also, and I've been there since '92, and it's the same subject about New York Avenue, the school district. And should that come up, and when the time does come up, I've seen many things happen in the school field. Kids play their soccer every week. I love hearing the kids, and I'd hate to have apartments there. I've seen helicopters land there when something in town happens and they need to have an evac. When Main Street has its fair every year, Hawkins and New York and Colonial are where the fire trucks come through. And if there's parking on both sides, they will not get through. So also just, it's, for the future, we will be there, but we're just, most of us are here on that issue.
But I would think that your pressure needs to be put on the school board,
We've been to the
and
meetings there.
they're the ones, the school board is the one selling the property. School board is the one that sells it based on yield. You understand what I just said? So the purchaser of the property says, I'll pay X amount of dollars if I get, I'll make up a number, 400 apartments. That's not us. They could dream about 400 apartments.
All right.
So, once we have an application, all your voices will be heard then, and I doubt very much. I can't give you my opinion
Right.
because it would prejudice the hearing.
Right.
So, I mean, you can read between the lines.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll remember this.
Okay, I'll be here. Matthew Gribben?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to be here. I'm actually here to piggyback on what the
Sure.
last two speakers have talked about. I understand that there hasn't been a formal change of zone yet, but we're here basically to let our feelings be heard because honestly, the way it's worked so far with the school district, we really don't trust them. Nobody's really knew anything about this until after a contract was signed. I personally looked at the board minutes of the school district on their October 25th meeting, and buried in the board minutes, it was under financial issues, it was like item number 6, was sale of New York Avenue property to SLC Development. And being at the meeting, all was voted on was items 1 through 9. Nothing was ever discussed, nothing was ever presented, and to be honest, I think a lot of people are very frustrated by that. So we're basically taking every possible step we can to make sure that the town of Smithtown stays as the town of Smithtown on what we want, what we've moved here for, and why many people continue to stay, and why the town's been celebrated for over 350 years. So I understand, obviously, like you said, there's no petition signed, but
No application.
no application, that's what I meant. But, you know, we will continue to kind of push for.
But just remember, once if an application is proffered, it would be advertised in the newspaper, signs would be posted, and we would have the public hearing. We come to the public hearings innocent. We have no, at least I don't, have a predetermined notion. It's what you folks will tell the town board, and then we act on the application.
Okay. Well, like, there's many concerns that we have, sewage treatment plant in people's backyards, the amount of traffic that would be caused through Main Street, which is a bit heavy as it is already. The transient students coming in and out of the school district that use a lot of resources, disrupt classrooms, take away from the students that are already there, possibly lowering the reputation of the school district, and it's basically a whole chain reaction. So I'm sure we'll continue to discuss this matter as, you know, if it does move forward. But again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Please state your name for the record, sir.
Matthew Gribben.
Thank you.
Roxanne Mandela.
Hi, good evening, Roxanne Mandela. I'm over on Signet Drive. Basically, you know, everything that they were saying, just here to extend same thing, voice my concern. I was just a little upset because I didn't really know about it. I do live in the town. I actually heard about it from a woman I teach with who lives in Massapequa. And you know, the fact that she knew about it before I knew about it was a little upsetting. And I hear exactly what you're saying. All of the same concerns that everybody here has. I understand the need, but the way they present this to make, you know, affordable housing for everybody, that's wonderful. I get up and go to work every day, so I can afford to live in Smithtown. I would love to stay home with my children. I don't. So I do have a certain level of expectation for my community, and something like that is not. I left Queens for a reason to come here.
Are you a school teacher?
I am.
What grade?
I do math, AIS, grades 1 through 5.
Okay. All your predecessors failed me in math.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We can work together, you and I, if you'd like a little extra help.
Thank you.
No charge.
I don't do much math here. Thomas Caro.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Thomas Caro. I've been a lifelong resident of Smithtown. My family moved here in 1964. I have seen many changes through my growing up and even my daughter going to school here. And I'm here with the rest of the community, just asking, you know, what are the opportunities? I'm glad that, Mr. Vecchio, that you gave us a little bit of knowledge of how to go forward with this. However, we are seeing a lot of changes, and a lot of times these changes come about, and the people, I guess, within the neighbors don't feel they have that much of a strong voice for it. And I guess we're also asking what recourse, what else can we do besides showing up at that board meeting, that board hearing, and that to help have our voices heard, and that.
Is that a question?
Yes.
Well, if the sale went through,
Mhm.
then that entity, what's the name of it, Long Island, what's the name of it?
Southern
Land, they would have to come in for a zone change.
Yes.
That zone is residential zone, quarter acre.
Mhm.
So they'd have to come in to change the zone and make an application. We hear it, but we publish the hearing, you folks would come and tell us why you're opposed to it, and then the board makes its decision.
Okay. I thank you for that information.
Okay.
And, as you can see, there's many people are concerned. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bob Hughes. He gets them all anyway.
Good evening. My name is Bob Hughes. I live on Hawkins Avenue, right across the street from New York Avenue, and I'm here also about the school district land sale. Supervisor Vecchio and council people and board members, thank you for your time. As you can see, there's a lot of passion here, and as was stated before, we don't trust the school district right now. We went to the December 13th meeting, and we've been to the one after that, and we asked them if the Southern Land deal was to fall through. We, the community, which they said this was done for the community, that they would listen to us, and we asked that they would hopefully work with us if it fell through for developing a different plan. And with hesitance, they kind of said, well, we'll basically work with you without committing to anything. That was the first board meeting. The follow-up one in January we just went to, we found out that they gave a 30-day extension. So right there, the trust is gone because they had an opportunity to kill the deal, and they did not. Also, I know that Superintendent Grosson, I know and Supervisor Vecchio, I know that there's been some information in the papers where he has been challenging you as far as your knowledge of the project, and that the town planning board had given the green light for the apartments. Again, we don't trust them, so this is our first opportunity basically speaking to you and the town board, so we hope that we can have a trust with our community group here going forward. I understand that the application was not made yet, but we also understand that Southern Land has been meeting and met before the holidays with somebody in the town planning board. Again, they're engineers, they have to...
No, not the planning board, maybe the planning
The planning department, maybe. So, but we know, that, and again, I've been in business a long time, I've been here 29 years. I basically know that nothing happens without the supervisor's blessing, and which is good. I grew up in Setauket. It's a positive thing. So I think you've done a good job of keeping the town, the quality of life, the school district, and everything, very strong. And that's why we moved here.
Sure.
Again, Setauket is a very nice area, but I'm happy you're here. I see, I have family in Setauket. I don't want this looking like Queens. Just a couple of quick things. I know we've heard rumors that maybe Smithtown, somebody in Smithtown, in a capacity was maybe looking at the possibility of, condensing all the separate departments that you have all over the town, maybe into one building, maybe. I understand.
Not true.
Okay.
It's been spoken about by people over many years.
Okay.
But that building, basically, I don't like to use the word, but it's a disaster. It's loaded with asbestos, lead, and otherwise, why are they abandoning it?
Okay. Well, we would also, again, we're just basically starting out, so we're hoping we got over almost 500 signatures now. We're hoping to get, thousands. We want to work with the town. We want to keep it beautiful, keep the congestion. When I moved here 27 years ago, I, wasn't naive. I figured that it would be developed, but I figured residential homes, so we're just hoping that, you'll work with us. And I know that, the planning department will be involved. They make recommendations, suggestions to the board, and you folks basically have the ultimate decision.
Yes,
so
correct.
we just ask that, maybe keep us the community, allow us to work with you and develop, what we consider to be a proper
Well, as soon
plan.
as an application is filed, if one is filed.
Right. I know they have about 2 or 3 more weeks before they can possibly their first back out clause with the 30-day extension.
Oh, okay.
So, and again, being that they're out of state, they hire local engineers and consultants. They have certain relationships with the town planning department. And so if they think that they're fairly confident that something could happen, they may continue.
I believe if they went to the planning department, that they were trying to determine what the yield under the town code would be.
Right, I
They
understand.
get no approvals from the planning department. The approvals have to come from this board after a public hearing.
Right, and just one last thing, for Councilman Thomas McCarthy, and maybe, hopefully you misquoted here. This was the Smithtown News, June 23rd, basically quoting that, that you would be in favor, with the rental apartments to expedite this, and that, if they can get the approval, that you would help expedite the zoning approval. So I'm hoping this was a misstatement. So that's why we as the community sometimes are fearful that things are being done behind closed doors. And again, we don't trust the school. Our first experience now, at least mine also, with the town board. So I'm hoping it will be a good community experience, and that, hopefully the right thing is done for not only the town, but the community also. So again, I
Okay.
just respectfully ask that you'll work with us.
Thank
When
you.
when you folks, as a supervisor said, attend the public hearing, if in fact there is an application
Yes.
tendered, be mindful, you should have all your facts together, your organization here, because you will get to challenge the applicant's attorneys at that public hearing. So make sure you have a cohesive answers, questions, whatever you want there. Excuse me, because you will have an opportunity at that public hearing to challenge the presentation.
I appreciate the information. Again, we're learning through this process now, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Richard Macellaro.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, town board members. From time to time, I have come here to discuss various matters concerning Smithtown, be it the planning process or master plan or development in the town. I'm here tonight because on April 13th, 2010, I presented to the board a request to fix the flooding that has occurred. Prior to me being here, I'm here 26 years, on 25A, right by the high school. Well, I'm here to update you, sir. It's been fixed as of this past December, and I'd just like to thank the board and all of you for your trouble with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Macellaro. I'll move to, anybody else wish to be heard before I close the meeting? I'll move to close the meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella?
Yes.
Thank you.